Hey guys, Key here from Kegland, talking to you about our Mark 4 regulators and also how the gauge guards, these new ones that just came into stock, also can be fitted onto these regulators. Now, if you've got one of our Mark 4s, you'd probably already know that we've made significant efforts to make the gauges stronger anyway. So we've got the rubber boots on the outside of the gauges. Then underneath that, the steel for the gauges are actually thicker than it used to be in the past. So you'll already find these can take a bit more of a bump than the previous models of regulators. Really straightforward. It's a really heavy duty gauge guard. So you'll notice first when you pick it up, it's pretty heavy. Basically it's made out of stainless steel, so it doesn't rust firstly. But secondly, we've made it out of 3mm plate. So to put that in perspective, if you get your standard 50 litre keg, that's made out of usually 1.5mm thick stainless steel chimes on the top and bottom. And this is like double that thickness. So it's really thick, can definitely handle quite a few knocks. Now, there's nothing worse going to a mate's house or going to a grand final party, a really high pressure moment, and you're taking your keg system, and even before you arrive to the party, you've accidentally dropped your gas cylinder and busted your gauges. There's absolutely nothing worse than that. I've had that myself. And honestly, for the small extra price of a gauge guard, I think it's really worth doing, especially if you're ever going to move your gas cylinder, take it away, or you're thinking you're going to take it camping, or you're a hire company, you want to hire them out. Whatever it is, I think if you're going to move your gas cylinder, get yourself a gauge guard. Now, they're really easy to fit. You basically get the gauges. They're a laser cut design specifically for this regulator model. So it's a nice snug fit when you get it in. And it looks pretty good, I think, when it's on. It doesn't really take up too much space or add much bulkiness to your regulator. So it just goes on exactly like that. Now, you'll know with the Mark 4 regulators as well that they have M6 female bolt holes at the back. So when you buy the gauge guard, it already includes 3 of those bolt holes. So that's basically how it works. But let me show you a few other things you can do with the gauge guards, and how you can also mount it to a wall if you wanted to, or use it as a mounting bracket to put multiple regulators together. Now, most of you guys using the regulator and gauge guard will probably just have it set up on the gas cylinder like that. So definitely if you've got a 6 kilo gas cylinder, the gauge guards can easily take a fall onto concrete sideways like that and still protect the gauges. The other thing I wanted to show you though is the gauge guards have these little mounting holes at the back of them. The reason why I've put them there is so you can actually have your regulator mounted remotely to the gas cylinder. Let me show you how that works. So a lot of people find that they want to have the gas cylinder, which is a bit ugly and cumbersome, hidden under counter or in a bench or maybe even outside the house, and then use a high pressure extension hose, which we have here. So these high pressure extension hoses just look like that. Now they're male to female, so they can be added together if you want to make a really long extension hose. But these extension hoses will enable you to put the gas cylinder further away from where the regulator is. And if you want to have a really nice setup bar, I guess, sometimes it's nice to have the regulator itself at eye level where you can easily see it and adjust it, especially if you've got multiple different pressures adjusting to each different keg, I guess. So how this works is we just have the high pressure extension hose connected to the gas cylinder. Now that's just finger tight, so I have to do it up a little bit more with the 7-in-1 tap tool. You don't have to go crazy with these fittings because it makes your nylon washers last a bit longer if you don't go overly tight. Then on the other side, I can just join this onto my regulator, and then I can screw this to the wall like that. Now, because there's female bolt holes on the regulator body, it's not easy to use the M6 bolts to go behind something, or you'd have to get to behind something to bolt it to a wall. So, I mean, I've got this piece of MDF here, which obviously I can bolt to, but if you're inside your standard house and you've got plaster walls, for instance, it's often not easy to get inside the plaster wall to put the bolt hole through. So that's where the gauge guards come in handy. You can actually just have those mounting holes on the inside and then just put some screws directly through it into your plaster wall or into your stud work, for instance. The other thing I'm going to show you is how to bank up multiple of these together. So if you've got, let's say, 2 of the regulators, I'll just show you how this works. Now we do have dual pressure regulators already made up out of the box, which you can see on our website. But a lot of you guys may have had a kegerator, for instance, and you upgrade to double gauges. So in that instance, you'll have to get this battery add-on regulator adapter. So to put that onto your regulator, all you do is unscrew the gauge itself, and then you screw in this battery add-on adapter like so. So then what you can do is that screws onto your next regulator like this. Alright, so once you've got your two gauges together and you've attached your gauge guard to both of them, you can see all the gauges are really well protected now. I can easily bolt it to the wall. So let's say I've got the cellar or back of my bar, for instance. All I need to do is put a couple of screws in like this and then attach my high pressure extension lead just like that. So that's pretty much how to set it up. Makes you a really sexy gas manifold where you can just easily adjust those pressures for each different keg and get a good visual indication of what each keg's sitting at eye level. Now the real test is starting off with a 6 kilo gas cylinder which is full of gas, so it's as heavy as it possibly can be, putting on the regulator and gauge guard and then dropping it over on concrete. As you can see in that test, it passes with flying colours. Now it's getting a bit like an infomercial now, but if it passes the drop test, let's try the car test where we're going to actually drive a car over the gauges and see how they fare. As you can see, with my 1 ton ute, it goes straight over the gauges, no problems at all. Now, if you want to know anything more about the new stuff that's coming out, definitely sign up to our YouTube channel, just down the bottom right-hand corner there. The other thing you can do is join our Facebook group. Our Facebook group has a lot of other members just like you sharing really cool information, so definitely join that. We also got a Facebook page, but the Facebook group has some really great discussion if you want to get involved in the discussion with other homebrewers. Anyway, hope to see you next time. Bye.